While a lot of people immediately bonded Bocchi with their introverted nature and social situations, I wonder how many of us also draw relation to her desire to be seen. And this video is a call out to all of you who went, "She's just like me for real, for real." Are you really for real though? Because Bocchi is not simply an introvert who are just content with living a quiet, modest life behind the curtains. She actively wants the spotlight as well, to be popular and have people go crazy for her. On paper, an introverted person who seeks attention may sound like a contradiction for some, but people ain't paper. Character archetypes be damned. In fact, introversion is not the TLB of Bocchi's story, but social anxiety is. Furthermore, there is no shame about wanting some attention, much less over something you have worked hard on. I even think it is something that was built into us. Think of babies crying when they need sustenance, or courting a love interest, or wanting someone to listen to a bad day at work of yours. We humans are social beings after all, and seeking attention is but yet another extension of that, yearning for connections with others. And that inner side of Bocchi that seeks fame is as true as the emotions that took reign over her actions throughout the majority of the show. The presentation of the entire show properly conveys this. When Bocchi succumbs to her emotional panics, it is not an internal conflict she needs to untangle alone within her mind jail, but she is physically expressing the struggles outwards for people to see. When Bocchi is acting up, she truly becomes the protagonist of her surroundings, the center of attention. Her most embarrassing bits that she should be hiding are always seen and exposed, and nearly everything she has done out of her heart or even considered doing were inherently and consistently flashy. That's right, Bocchi made sure she causes a scene when her anxious heart gets the better of her. The true whore of attention. Like lying flat down on the street, strikes the famous hero pose with her shiny guitar, or do the one thing that could generate the most decibels in physical earth.
Hey, listen!
Explode. Through her band members, we see that they not only react upon Bocchi's ever-reforming outer flesh, but also present inside her imaginations, blurring the line between whether she is truly hiding her embarrassment or subconsciously laying wide open, inviting attention of people around. Her inner showmanship didn't just stop there. It all stays true if we examine her most idealistic delusions. If chances come to drop her personal agenda, she wants to tell the world she was an outcast at school, not because she wants to declare revenge or change other people's perspective on introverts, but because achieving stardom in spite of it makes it all the more cooler. This is a rather interesting choice, as it shows that she doesn't want to abandon her true nature even when she gets a hold of her dream. The cultural festival performance ended with her stage diving, just to be met by her sorry face kissing the floor. For me, this is her cringiest moment, bar none. A move worthy to bestow her the social death status in her entire school life, with no chance of climbing back up. So I'm just glad that this is a light-hearted enough of a fiction that she was pardoned from such cruel fate. But nonetheless, this pretentious act shows that even when she has no idea what to do, her body chose the most outrageous act possible. The performer in her is already at the top of the echelon. What about uploading her covers on YouTube yet not showing her face, naming herself Guitar Hero no less? With anonymity, she could act like she's the hottest shit at her leisure in the description. No holding punches with these made-up stories she cooked up just to satiate her desire. Being a YouTuber is such an appropriate detail for her character, because this platform where you are watching this video is exactly the place one could broadcast themselves, presenting a side of you however you see fit with absolute control to a mass audience. It is important that she uploads pre-recorded covers instead of live streaming performances. The former allowed her to prepare and mold exactly how she presents herself, while playing live would certainly induce her twitchy personality. Oh, even though far beyond for being a party monster, she definitely got that party lingo installed down to her muscle memory. The songs she wrote vents her frustrations, turning what she wants to say into lyrics to be sung. And even Guitar Man, which is sort of like an alter ego in her head, speaks in an energetic voice with vibrant body gestures, juxtaposes her shy demeanor. What I'm trying to say is that the portrayal of the very character, Goto Hitori, is a constant struggle between her very nature and her desires. Social anxiety being the culprit, blocking her way in life and by extension, her dream. She wants prestige without abandoning her identity of a inkya. Yet it is because of her crippling condition, her biggest hurdle isn't one about skills, but her inability to overcome social situations. After laying down so many examples, I think this dissonance of a socially anxious girl who purposefully pursues a talent that will inevitably requires her to stand under the spotlight is very much intended. Goto Hitori is at heart a girl who had it in her to be a superstar, as shown by her innate ability to come up with extravagant actions on every turn and plenty of hidden showmanship eager to show off, all undermined by crippling social anxiety. A nuance the author wants to present using Bocchi to highlight how detrimental the condition can be in someone's life. And that, for me, is when the relatability of Bocchi grows a deeper layer. As someone who had dwelled into performing arts, I can tell you that I'm not the kind who are eager to show off my labor of passion as soon as I nailed them down. I was pretty okay with just low-key nurturing my skills and not having to deal with getting a stage to express. Yet at the same time, the want of having it to be noticed is ever present. When chances came, nerve becomes a factor. The condition of my body, the unfamiliar environment, worrying about the result or any regrets before they even happen. Everything that doesn't seem to matter at all suddenly weighs on the overly cautious heart and the overly imaginative brain. Knock knock, that was probably social anxiety interfering. Rest assured, I have not much regrets over the days when I was still active, but looking up the symptoms of social anxiety for the purpose of understanding our Hitori-chan here made me rant another round with myself. I would deny chances to perform just to avoid the stress, telling myself it's fine either way, I'm not going pro or something like that. The few times I took up the stage were nerve-wracking, but ended up fine, enjoying the moment even. Though after the performance high dissipates, I was back to square one again, being anxious getting up the stage again even though there are low-stakes occasions. Was I really fine with keeping the talent for myself after all? Or were those lines of thoughts conditioned by that lurking disorder all along? Given how delicate these things can get, it is probably a little bit of both. But it goes to show how much control it holds over our minds. And truth be told, I was also dealing with the big D, which rips all my motivations away, so I was totally messed up enough to not able to make proper decisions. The talents I hold was pretty much just a hobby at that point. Engaging with it was already less of a concern. Damn, what this show did to a man, I was just reliving my nightmare. If anyone still thinks that Bocchi's characterization is rather unrealistic simply because she wants attention, hence it wasn't in the template your mind referenced to when the word outcast or socially awkward came to mind, that was my anecdotal experience as someone who used to practice a talent being an introvert and was suffering from the clutches of social anxiety without really being aware of it. Hell, even doing this YouTube thing comes from the similar vein. It's been a while since a character called me out that personally by pursuing a virtual life, having the exact same passing thought. The popularity the show receives then creates an interesting meta-ish narrative that perhaps few saw coming. People around the world paid massive attention to the show, in particular the ridiculously quirky portrayal of all her anxiety attacks, which has spread around the internet enough that even people who haven't even watched the show recognizes Bocchi by her embarrassments first before getting to know her. People make fun of her, rooting for her, while finding a piece of themselves being represented. In a way, Bocchi is realizing her dream of being popular faster in real life than the original story. And thankfully, even if we exclude all the infectious Bocchi moments and the tactful portrayal of social anxiety, the show still offers some intricate enough character writings on the side, making its popularity even more deserving. While the fateful encounter ultimately benefits everyone involved, there's more going on with the other members than just Bocchi being pulled to the light. Bocchi herself can only wish she has at least a smidge of Kita's outgoing traits, but Kita on the other hand admires and lacks the skills of Bocchi. Self-conscious about her ability, she needs to play catch-up harder than the rest of the members. Finally found a hero who can possibly make her dream come true, Nijika practices diligently in case she holds less of a ground in achieving her own dream. As the emotionally supportive leader, she holds the responsibility to make sure everyone's investment to the band bears fruit. And Leo left a semi-established band to pursue music true to her own. But in order to at least live poor, she needs bandmates of her level in order to re-establish her career. Kessoku band hangs on with this dynamic among the four. And what's a band without some inside story? Bocchi the Rock gave me a very simple yet assuring warm feeling. A kind of solace that even when anime has gone mainstream, or that mental health is less discussed in certain countries, there's always a spot for characters as yin as Bocchi to be made as the main character easily, to be part of the zeitgeist, and successfully resonating with people of her kind, albeit in the most light-hearted way possible, on a problem that might have stuck with people for as long as they have lived. The change of guitar at the finale was a surprise to me, because just when I'm about to understand the point of Bocchi's character, I noticed the guitar, which is not hers originally, has always been there as the symbol of her inner characteristic. A shiny black body laced in gold. Not gaudy enough to the point of being comedic, but certainly showy enough of an eye-catcher, isn't it? It doesn't fit her personality, even clashing with her loner jersey, but it is exactly her desire in physical form, a flashy weapon at hand to show off. And I thought, wow, that's great character design right there. The point of the character is properly conveyed by her appearance, so by taking it away was questionable in my head at first. But of course, changes are meant to be reflections of character development. So, this little change has also quickly struck a chord with me as I grasped its significance. Perhaps to signal her passion has dawns on a different trajectory. She no longer has to project her dream into the tool she relied upon. She has a band now, people to play for, skills to pay bills, and more importantly, the ever-growing confidence on herself. The guitar doesn't have to be the attention lightning rod in my stead. I am the one who are supposed to grab your attention, my skills within me. And the fully matte black body of the new guitar cannot accentuate enough the slightly muted pink of its holder more. The shine from the black and gold sheen can rest for now. It is time you put your eyes on her. While Bocchi the Rock had a fair deal of dark humor, insinuating the frightening reality of dream chasers and making light of some real-life problems for a few laughs inoffensively, it is at heart a feels-good, inspiring story about chasing your dreams, conquering that inner demon one step at a time. Bocchi's conflict with herself is yet another part of this message, exposed and delivered in a whole new level with this amazing adaptation, making her a standout among the gloomy bunch. Every time Bocchi descends to the lifehouse, she starts with her lowest of morale, yet at the end of the day, she comes out ascending to a better self after submerging into her passion. As though the show is trying to say, even though the very adversary that is pulling your leg is formlessly frightening, there's no shame following your heart when they are so obviously true to yourself. Hell, you pursue in spite of the fear. That is bravery itself. Progress may be slow, but as long as she wants it, Bocchi will be inching onwards. We all yearn for our time to shine, even if for a brief moment of a song or two, being the protagonist of our own lives, wanting control over it, and being exposed to art out there. inspiring and motivating us. But perhaps for some of us, all we need is a personal space, comfortable enough for us to be at ease and focus on the passion we pursue. Take our own pace, open up when we see fit. And then from within, we burst with enough light. The enclosed space could not possibly contain it completely. Sure, it may take some time to combat our inner demons. Demons we have to learn to suppress mentally. But as long as you have found that space to stand on firmly, shine on, baby.
We all need to shine on to see how far we've gone on a journey. How far yet to go, searching for our star. Deep in the night, I pray in my heart for that special love to shower me with love, to shower me with love, to shine from above. I gotta get to the edge of soul to carry on. While I'm living from the better sky. Gotta get to the edge of soul to carry on. Deep in my
I hope you see something different from my take on Bocchi, one of the most famous fictional band girl in anime, and hopefully she will keep getting more love down the line. If you are one of those who goes "that's me for real with the show," and perhaps even share the same desire with Bocchi, let me know in the comments. I will listen to all your hidden desires in the form of modest little comments on YouTube. Consider subscribing to the channel and check out my catalog of videos. The Chainsaw Man one looks pretty fire if I might say. Thanks for watching and I'll see you from the moon.